Imagine a city so long it stretches across an entire country, with two giant mirror walls rising from the desert sand. That's not a sci-fi movie. That's the line, the centerpiece of Saudi Arabia's $500 billion megaproject, NEOM. This is MegaConstructs, where we explore colossal builds from around the globe. Let's begin today's journey. Phase 1. The Desert Mirage. Imagine standing in the middle of a vast, empty desert in northwest Saudi Arabia. The wind is howling. There's nothing but sand and rock for as far as you can see. Now, imagine something completely different. Two enormous, mirror-covered skyscrapers rising side by side, cutting a straight line through the landscape. They stretch all the way to the horizon and beyond. This isn't a scene from a science fiction movie. This is the line, the centerpiece of NEOM, Saudi Arabia's $500 billion megacity. The megacity project is part of the broader NEOM initiative, which was first launched in 2017. The line was officially announced by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on January 10, 2021, with the aim of diversifying the kingdom's economy as part of Vision 2030. By Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, NEOM was meant to be the ultimate symbol of a new Saudi Arabia. The plan was to build a futuristic region the size of Belgium from scratch. The goal of the country's Vision 2030 plan was to move the economy away from its total dependence on oil and towards futuristic industries like tech, tourism, and AI. And at the very heart of this vision was the line, an audacious, straight-line city that would change how we all live. But as we'll see in this video, building a utopia in the desert is proving far more difficult than anyone imagined. Phase 2. The Science Fiction Blueprint. So what exactly is the line? Let's break down the original plan, because it's mind-blowing. Imagine a city not as a sprawling web of suburbs, but as a single, straight line. The line was designed to be 170 kilometers long. That's further than the distance from Amsterdam to Brussels. It would be 200 meters wide and 500 meters tall. That's taller than many of the tallest skyscrapers in the world. The entire city would be enclosed within two parallel, mirror-covered walls. A city in a skyscraper. The idea was revolutionary. Instead of spreading out, the line would build up. Homes, schools, parks, and offices would be stacked in layers. The designers promised that every resident would have all their daily needs within a 5-minute walk. The exterior of the city would be clad in mirrors, reflecting the surrounding desert and making the city almost disappear into the landscape. Inside, they imagined lush parks, floating gardens, and even an artificial moon to light the night sky. Here's the part that gets everyone excited. The line would have no cars, no roads, and zero emissions. Instead, a high-speed train would run the entire 170-kilometer length of the city, taking you from one end to the other in just 20 minutes, 4 stops in total. For shorter trips, residents would use autonomous shuttles, moving walkways, and escalators that connect the different levels of this vertical city. It sounded like the perfect future, wrapped in glass and steel. Phase 3. The impossible engineering. Of course, building a 170-kilometer-long skyscraper in the desert isn't easy. It's one of the biggest engineering challenges ever attempted. Step 1. The foundations. The first problem is the ground. The line crosses wildly different terrain, from hard mountains to soft, marshy soil near the coast. To build anything stable, you first need a solid, level base. Engineers started digging a massive 200-meter-wide trench that stretches across the desert. At the bottom of this trench, they began drilling tens of thousands of holes, some up to 70 meters deep. Into these holes, they dropped giant steel cages, each 32 meters long, and then filled them with concrete. These are the piles that will anchor the city to the solid bedrock deep underground. On top of these piles, they pour a thick concrete raft. By early 2026, thousands of piles had been placed, and the first phase of foundations was nearing completion. Step 2. Going vertical. Once the foundations are set, the next step is to go vertical. On a normal skyscraper, you build a central concrete core that acts as the building spine. But the line isn't one building. It's made of thousands of individual modules, each 800 meters long. So, they plan to build hundreds of cores, each supporting a section of the city. These cores would then be connected by giant steel beams, creating the skeleton of the city. This phase was supposed to start in 2025. Construction crews were mobilized. Concrete factories were built. It looked like the impossible was actually becoming a reality. But that's when the problems really started to mount. Phase 4. The trillion-dollar question. Reports began to surface that the project was in serious trouble. The sheer scale of the vision had collided with the harsh reality of physics and finance. The cost ballooned out of control. The initial budget for the line was around $200 billion, but by early 2026, internal audits revealed the true cost of the full 170-kilometre city would be astronomical. Put the final price tag at nearly $9 trillion. That's more than 25 times Saudi Arabia's entire annual budget. By September 2025, after spending over $50 billion, construction on the line was effectively suspended. The on-site workforce was relocated, and only about 2.4 kilometres of foundation work had been fully completed. The dream of a 170-kilometre city by 2030 was officially dead. The Great Scale Back. In early 2026, the Saudi government launched a major review of the entire project. The result was a drastic scaling back. The new plan is far more modest. Instead of a 170-kilometre linear city, only a 2.4-kilometre section, less than 1.5% of the original plan, is being actively pursued for the foreseeable future. And instead of housing 1.5 million people by 2030, the completed section might hold fewer than 300,000 residents. In a surprising twist, reports now suggest that the excavated land may not be used for housing at all, but for massive data centers to power the country's growing artificial intelligence industry, rather than millions of residents. Phase 5. The futuristic amenities. Even with the scale back, Saudi Arabia is still pushing forward with some of the more spectacular features planned for the line, particularly those that will help attract global attention and investment. The stadium in the sky. One of the most viral stories of 2025 was the announcement of the NEOM Stadium. Social media was flooded with AI-generated videos of a glowing, floating football stadium suspended 350 meters above the desert. The reality is slightly less fantastical, but still impressive. The stadium won't float. It will be built inside the structure of the line itself, on the 4th and 5th levels of the city. This 46,000-seat venue, powered entirely by renewable energy, is scheduled to be one of the host stadiums for the 2034 FIFA World Cup, the Oxagon and Trojena. The line isn't the only part of NEOM. The plan also includes Oxagon, a floating industrial city on the Red Sea that is designed to be a hub for clean manufacturing and logistics. Another part is Trojena, a mountain resort that was supposed to host the 2029 Asian Winter Games, but the Games have since been postponed and moved to a different country. Like the line, both of these projects have faced major delays and are being significantly scaled back. Phase 6. The final verdict. Will it ever be finished? So, where does this leave the line? After everything we've seen, will this futuristic megacity ever be completed? A changed vision. It's clear the original plan is dead. The 170-kilometre, 9 million-person utopia is never going to be built. The Saudi government is now pivoting to a far more realistic approach. The new CEO of NEOM, Ayman Al-Mudaifa, is leading a strategic review to scale back the project to something that is actually achievable. The Saudi finance minister summed up the new national mood perfectly in late 2025. He said the country has no ego when it comes to its mega projects, and that they are willing to cancel or delay them if they are not practical. The age of limitless spending on symbolic dreams is over. The most likely future. The most likely outcome is that only a small showpiece section of the line will be built, probably around 2.4 kilometers long. This miniature version will contain the stadium, a marina, and some residential units. It will serve as a luxury tourist attraction and a symbol of Saudi Arabia's ambition, but it will be a tiny fraction of the original vision. The story of the line is a powerful reminder that even with unlimited money, some ideas are just too big. Physics, finance, and other considerations, such as consulting local residents and basic human rights, must be taken into consideration by developers. The line may not change the world as planned, but its story of outrageous ambition, extremely difficult engineering, the impact of escalating costs, is a fascinating one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world's most controversial megaproject, please hit like and subscribe to MegaConstructs so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching.